Chapter 104, Master Nalan made a breakthrough for your majesty. It's nothing serious. It's only some old illnesses. It doesn't matter. Feng Tianyu wiped his mouth. Make sure that no one knows about this, especially Qing'er. If not, you'll be killed without mercy. Your majesty, Eunuch Lin came forward worriedly. You don't have to be like this. There are so many good doctors in this world. We can hire them to treat your illnesses. Moreover, your majesty could buy a lot of spirit herbs. Your illnesses might be cured. Actually, Feng Tianyu had those illnesses because he had suffered from great misery and grief when Empress Nalan died that year. Feng Tianyu's health was becoming worse every day after Empress Nalan's death. He never could have made it to this day if Feng Ruqing were more thoughtful and sensible. He was worried that Feng Ruqing would be bullied by the others when he died. But now, he felt that his duty was fulfilled after seeing how far Feng Ruqing had changed and grown. I still need to hold Liu Yun Kingdom together. If the others know of my deteriorating health, they might take this chance to attack us. Feng Tianyu's eyebrows tightened. He sighed softly. I just hope that I could uncover the truth to Yanger's death and avenge her before I die. That way, I could eliminate all enemies for Qing'er. I won't die before eliminating all the enemies. So, don't worry. His daughter had grown up, but she clearly needed his support and guidance. He would never leave her behind. He would only go and meet Yanger when everything was settled and peaceful. Furthermore, Feng Tianyu laughed bitterly. I have always wished that Feng Ruqing could amend her relationship with the General Manor. If I passed on the throne to her, the General Manor would support her willingly, not because of Yanger and me. Your Majesty? Eunuch Lin was shocked. He looked up at Feng Tianyu anxiously. If your Majesty wants to pass your throne on to Feng Ruqing, all the people will never agree. There has never been a female emperor in the history of Liu Yun. Feng Tianyu snorted. The throne is mine. Anyone can be an emperor if I choose to pass my throne on to her. Moreover, the next emperor must be the child of Yanger and there's no one else. Eunuch Lin was quiet. His Majesty had never been together with the other consorts these last few years. Those consorts were just there for show. So, His Majesty was left without a son now. If he continued to act stubbornly, he would never have a son. So, this throne might just be passed on to the crown princess. In a small garden at the palace, a young girl was surrounded by a group from the iron-blooded troop. There was a sweet and innocent smile on her beautiful face. Tangzi, I really came to meet all of you. It's because my concubine mother knows that all of you have been training very hard recently. So, she has ordered me to bring you this 100-year-old ginseng for you to strengthen your bodies. 100-year-old ginseng was only an ordinary herb. It was not as powerful as a spirit herb. Moreover, these people from the iron-blooded troop were so aggressive. She would not have given them the spirit herbs even if she had bought them. But, this 100-year-old ginseng was considered expensive in the market. So, these people would surely be grateful toward her. Second princess, please leave now. There was no emotion on Tangzi's face. Her expression was cold. Just bring the 100-year-old ginseng back. We don't need it. Feng Rushwang's smile froze. She was furious. These people were just some of the royal family's dogs. How could they be this rude? They thought that they were favored by His Majesty. I'm kind enough to come and meet you. Although the iron-blooded token has been retrieved by my sister, but think about it, is it a good thing that she has taken it back? No. You're wrong. She just wants to use it to harm the public. My concubine mother took it away then for everybody's sake. Now, you can't even differentiate good and bad. Chapter 105, Conflict resolved over a pot of wine. Tangzi frowned slightly as her body was surrounded by a cold chill. She looked indifferent, and her face was taut the whole time. We, iron-blooded troop, submit ourselves only to the Empress in our whole lifetime. After the Empress' death, it's only natural for the Princess Royal to assume command over us. Second princess, please leave now. Tangzi. Feng Rushwang's smile ceased. Are you sure you want to help a villain do evil? Won't your decision today damage the military's glory and prestige which Empress Nalan had fought for so many years? My concubine mother is just concerned about the whole nation, but you choose to be loyal to somebody who has committed countless crimes. If not because of the troop commander, Tang Zi, who was steady and firm, Feng Rushuang would have succeeded in her attempt to bribe and win the troop member's heart. Then, they would have gotten the troops' acceptance much earlier, which they did not get even after holding the iron-blooded token for so many years. You shut up. Ling Yun shouted in anger as her expression changed. You are nobody to interfere with whatever decisions made by the troop. Don't poke your nose into our business. Feng Rushuang sneered and turned to look at the rest of the troop members who were there. You can ask these people, how many of them are willing to submit themselves to Feng Ruqing? She mocked. Everyone was taken aback and looked at each other without saying anything. After a moment of silence, someone from the back suddenly spoke. It could be heard clearly in the quiet courtyard. Commander, actually what she said is not totally wrong. We are the army of iron-blooded troop who are supposed to fight for our homeland and protect our people. All of us are aware of how the Princess Royal has behaved previously. If she wants us to oppress and bully people, wouldn't it tarnish our reputation? Nevertheless, Feng Ruqing had done countless of crimes and misdeeds. She did bully the weak and oppress poor people. Due to her status, nobody in Liuyun Kingdom dared to go against Feng Ruqing. Imagine if she had the military troop behind her, who else would be bold enough to resist her command? Empress Nalan had been striving hard through the war for many years before they had managed to build their reputation today. They would never let the princess tarnish it. All of you shut up. Tang Zi glared sternly at the group. She reprimanded sternly, no matter what happens, the iron-blooded troop will only submit to one person. Unless we die in the war, I will never leave. Everyone went silent. They never thought of betraying the empress, but the princess' attitude had disappointed them. They would rather live without any accomplishment their whole lives than following her around to bully the people. Tang Zi diverted her cold glance to Feng Rushuang. You better leave now. I will pretend that you never came here today. Please bring your ginseng along, we do not need it. Feng Rushuang clenched her palms tightly in annoyance. As the princess of Liuyun Kingdom, she had never been humiliated in front of others except for Feng Ruqing. How dare this bloody Tang Zi belittle her? Tang Zi, do you think I came here for fun? Feng Rushuang suddenly laughed. Her eyes were beaming with delight and tenderness. I accidentally heard about her conversation with a palace maid. She personally said that she took back the iron-blooded token to oppress and slaughter the innocent civilians. You will end up as her partner in crime eventually. Why do you want to be a sinner and be condemned by history? Tang Zi knitted her brows again. She glared at Feng Rushuang coldly. The Princess Royal has just dropped by to show her solitude to us not long ago. She has personally sent us some the divine spirit fruit. Feng Rushuang was stunned. That good-for-nothing rogue was willing to buy precious spirit herbs for the iron-blooded troop. This time, she was serious and seemed to have put in her blood and sweat. I have heard of the divine spirit fruit from the imperial physician. They are just grade 1 spirit herbs which are not extremely expensive despite its small amount available in the market. Never thought that the commander of the iron-blooded troop could be bought by a mere divine spirit fruit. Can't you see that she's just trying to win you over? Chapter 106. Conflict resolved over a pot of wine too. She sighed helplessly and said with mixed emotion, I pity my concubine mother. Her painstakingly effort was misunderstood by the whole nation that year. Everyone thought that she had snatched other people's possession for herself when it was actually her concern for the civilians. Tang Zi remained silent, but she could feel the burning flame of anger in her heart. No matter Feng Ruqing had changed or not, the iron-blooded troop would never betray her and submit themselves to another person. Why won't she understand after so many years? The rest of the troop members' military morale had shaken except for Tang Zi's. After all, everyone had witnessed and was aware of Feng Ruqing's bad behavior and misdeeds these past few years. She was capable of doing things mentioned by the second princess. Looking at the signs of anxiety on their face, Feng Rushuang seemed rather grimly delighted. She sneered at them. It was difficult to influence Tang Zi, but she could manipulate and waver the rest of the troop members' minds. Once their morale was shaken, she would manage to have control over them. Then she would just change the troop commander, so it was not a big issue here. Stop talking nonsense. Ling Yun flew into a rage out of embarrassment. Hee hee. Feng Rushuang chuckled in disdain and mocked, my concubine mother has been the scapegoat for many years. Today, I am here to clear her name and let you all know who is the one who really cares for the people. Who is the real master of the iron-blooded token. That wretched fatty, Feng Ruching, was a good-for-nothing. She did not only snatch away her father and the affection that she deserved, but also the iron-blooded token as well. She would never let this matter rest. The real master of iron-blooded token? A giggling sound could be heard when the soft breeze blew at them. The sound was soft and gentle to the ear, but Feng Rushuang felt a chill run down her spine. Feng Rushuang turned her head slowly to identify the source. Her eyes widened in shock. It was almost sunset as the warm sunlight filled the small courtyard. A young lady was standing at the entrance, and she was smiling sweetly. Her body was still considered fatter than the rest of the people. However, Feng Rushuang could not deny that she had lost some weight, and she looked prettier than before. The young woman's smile was warm like the sunlight, contagious and graceful. Sister. Feng Rushuang quickly hid her shock and greeted Feng Ruching like nothing had happened. She smiled sweetly and walked toward Feng Ruching. Her black orbs looked mesmerizing, bright, and clear. However, when one took a second look at them, they made people feel like there was nowhere to hide from those eyes. Why are you here? You haven't dropped by the Imperial Palace for so many days, so I thought you have already forgotten about our father. You did not even pay him a visit. Feng Ruching smiled until her eyes were almost like two lines. I have no choice. To share His Majesty's burden and to able to solve his problems, I can only upgrade my ability. These few days, I have been too busy until I had no time to visit father. Seems like I am not a filial daughter. But since father loves me, I think he won't mind about it. Feng Ruching was indeed quite busy in her practice recently. At the same time, she was busy making herbal dishes as well. How was it possible for her to squeeze out time in between to pay her father a visit? She did not even step out of her princess manner these past few days. Feng Rushuang's smiling face turned stiff and awkward. Sister, I did not mean that. I did not mention anything. Feng Ruching looked shocked and confused. Unless, I did say something that I shouldn't have said just now? Rushuang, you're just concerned about me. How could it be possible for me to misinterpret your words? Unless you do have such intention. Feng Rushuang felt she was going to explode soon and was about to hit her to death. However, she knew that she did not stand a chance against these people from the iron-blooded troop, so she swallowed her anger. By the way, I heard you mentioning the master of iron-blooded token just now? Feng Ruching suddenly asked solemnly. Who told you that the iron-blooded token has a master? Feng Rushuang's face turned blank. She raised her head and looked at Feng Ruching in confusion. What do you mean, sister? Chapter 107. Conflict resolved over a pot of wine. 3. Every member of the iron-blooded troop has their own rights. If they choose to be loyal to me, they can follow me to the battlefield throughout their lives. One day, if they feel tired and exhausted, they may choose to live in seclusion. Nobody is eligible to call herself master or force them into slavery. The whole iron-blooded troop was dumbfounded. One day, if they were tired of the battle life, they could request to retire and return to their hometown and live in seclusion. Could they do that? She would not force them to commit their whole life to her. So, Feng Ruching lowered her gaze at Feng Rushuang. She looked down at her with superiority. Who are you, to claim yourself as the master of the iron-blooded token? Feng Rushuang's face went pale white. She bit her lip hard and her petite body was trembling. Sister, didn't you say earlier that these people are your dogs? Why did she talk about human rights now? Feng Ruching chuckled coldly. Because the old Feng Ruching is already dead. Feng Ruching. Feng Rushuang recovered from her surprise. Wickedness flashed through her eyes. She could not contain herself. Don't pretend anymore. Who doesn't know your real face? The iron-blooded troop members should have known your attitude better. You've taken back the token just to order them around to do your dirty jobs, haven't you? The iron-blooded token was useless in their hands, but if it fell into Feng Ruqing's possession, they had no choice but to obey her commands. The iron-blooded token? Feng Ruqing smiled a little and took out the token. Much to everyone's surprise, she suddenly broke the token into two halves with force. Do you think I need to depend on this token? She had actually taken back the token from noble consort Rome because she did not want her to stain it. In fact, Feng Ruqing never had the intention to use the iron-blooded token to control the troop. She only wanted to depend on herself. Every iron-blooded troop member was stunned. Even Feng Ruquang was taken aback and shocked. If Feng Ruqing had this token in hand, none of the troop member could go against her command as it represented the Empress herself. His Majesty would never allow anyone to disrespect Feng Ruqing. Thus, even though the iron-blooded troop members did not submit themselves to Feng Ruqing, they could not disobey her order. This was what they most afraid of at the moment. However, they did not expect her to break the token. She destroyed it without any hesitation. Your Royal Highness, Tang Zi stared at Feng Ruqing in shock. Are you aware of the consequence behind your action right now? Feng Ruqing turned to Tang Zi and smiled back. Of course, I do. Would you not obey my command if I don't have this iron-blooded token anymore? No, we won't do that. Tang Zi quickly shook her head to show her loyalty. It's fine then. The iron-blooded token does not have many functions anyway. It only attracts those who eye it with bad intention. What I want is not the token, but your genuine loyalty. I want all of you to submit yourselves to me willingly. Feng Ruqing assured her with a gentle smile. However, I promise that I will never stain the iron-blooded troop's reputation and tarnish my imperial mother's reputation. I will only make our troop stronger and lead everyone into glory and more success. Tang Zi felt warmed and touched. Finally, this day had come. She had been waiting for this day for too long. She was glad that she managed to witness this day. I believe in you. This time, she was willing to trust her words again, just because of her motivating words just now. Tang Zi kneeled down on one knee, held her sword with both hands and said loudly, "The commander of the iron-blooded troop, Tang Zi, pays respect to master. The vice-commander of the iron-blooded troop, Ling Yun, pays respect to master. Pay respect to master." As the sun set in the west, the high-spirited and dignified sound echoed under the sky continuously without a break. Feng Ruquang's face went pale. She stared at Feng Ruqing with intense hatred. She glanced at Feng Ruqing coldly, then turned and walked toward the door. Chapter 108. Conflict resolved over a pot of wine. She clenched her fists tightly. Her hands were at her sides, her fingernails dug into her palms until it bled without her realizing it. Feng Ruqing, you cannot keep whatever that does not belong to you forever. One day, I'll take the things you have snatched away from me back, and I will make you suffer and give you no chance to rise again. Feng Ruqing did not bother about Feng Ruquang's leaving. For her, having fun and enjoying wine with the troop members were more important at the moment. Look here, I've prepared good wine for all of you. Let's enjoy our wine heartily tonight. She had not gotten a chance to try her wine yet as she was busy giving it to others. So today she would drink it to her heart's content. What an enjoyable night to drink wine with her fellow troop members. I don't drink wine. Ling Yun was stunned. So, she tried to decline the offer with a weak excuse. Feng Ruqing was not pleased upon hearing that. I have spent a lot of effort to get this wine. All of you must drink it. But I cannot hold my liquor. No, it cannot be. Are you a soldier? If you are a proud and strong soldier, how can you refuse to drink? If it were an ordinary wine, she would have let her go, but this was spirit wine. She must drink it. Feng Ruqing lifted the wine jar without much effort and opened it. The fragrance of the wine filled the air. Even Ling Yun, who was not a drinker, subconsciously indulged in the fragrance and the sweet scent of the wine. She soon realized that her inner qi was fluctuating and seemed to be rising to the next level. This wine, Tang Zi lifted her head in surprise. Don't bother about this wine. Today, we must drink heartily. Ling Yun, get a wine bowl here. Yes, master. Ling Yun had recovered from her surprise and quickly rushed to the little courtyard. In actual fact, Feng Ruqing did not bring only one jar, but a few jars of wine which were already diluted with water. She had no other choice. There were simply too many people in the troupe. If she did not do this, it would not be enough for everyone. Later on, she would get more spirit beasts to help her with the wine-producing work. By then, the troupe members would be able to drink pure spirit wine instead of the diluted one. Master, is it really all right for us to enjoy such good wine? Tang Zi looked at Feng Ruqing and asked in hesitation. Shall we send it to His Majesty and the old generals? Feng Ruqing raised her brows. Don't worry. Of course, I have kept some for them. Moreover, apart from relieving pain and maintaining good health, spirit wine helps to break through your cultivation level as it contains sufficient qi. Since all of you want to submit yourselves to me, you must upgrade your cultivation level. Tang Zi felt moved as it tugged at her heartstrings. In her opinion, a change for the better in the princess had been an extravagant hope to them. Yet, who knew the princess would be so concerned about them? Then, I shall give no more excuses. Today, I will drink heartily with you. She finally smiled. It was different from her usual confident and valiant smile, it was more gentle this time. Within seconds, Ling Yun came out with the wine bowl. She poured a bowl for Feng Ruqing first and handed to her. She took the bowl and said it out loud, "Let me salute you with the first toast of wine. All of you must drink too." Once she finished her words, she swallowed every drop of wine in one shot. Then, her body suddenly fell back with a bang sound as she fell onto the floor just before Ling Yun managed to pour her second round of wine. The wine bowl shattered on the ground beside her. Tang Zi was left dumbfounded for a few moments, then she picked up the wine bowl and took a sip. This spirit wine does not have high alcohol content. Why did Princess become unconscious after only one drink? Moreover, based on her current low alcohol tolerance, how bold it was of her to drink heartily with us. Commander, let me bring Princess to rest somewhere. Ling Yun shook her head as she felt helpless. When she wanted to carry Feng Ruqing, suddenly a small storm appeared on the princess' body. That storm was so strong to the point where it pushed Ling Yun a few steps back. Is this a sign of cultivation breakthrough for the princess? Tang Zi was stunned to see this strange phenomenon. She frowned at Feng Ruqing, who was sleeping soundly on the ground. She muttered to herself for a few moments, "No, something is wrong. The breakthrough for Earth Warrior Tier won't cause this strong effect, but her fluctuating spiritual qi does belong to Earth Warrior Tier." Chapter 109. It was a huge embarrassment. Tang Zi fell silent. Her eyes showed that she was thinking hard. After a while, the spiritual qi storm was still there, and it did not disappear. In fact, she felt her inner spiritual qi start to go out of control under the influence of the storm. Tang Zi, what happened? Ling Yun was astonished. How could it be possible for the Earth Warrior Tier breakthrough to cause such a strong effect to the people around? Moreover, our cultivation level is higher than the princess. How can she affect us? Tang Zi raised her head. A few years ago, I was able to witness the battle of two warriors from Dark Warrior Tier, and the storm caused by their battle did affect my inner qi as well. Apart from that incident, I have never experienced the same feeling anymore. Who knew how strong a Dark Warrior was? In the whole of Liu Yun Kingdom, Spirit Warrior Tier was already considered as the strongest among others. What was the reason behind the princess' unusual breakthrough? Moreover, if I am not mistaken, Princess was still a beginner warrior lower tier 2 months ago, but now she's reached the Earth Warrior Tier in one step. Don't you feel strange about it? Ling Yun bit her lips softly in hesitation. Then this incident, nobody is allowed to talk about this matter. If this incident is spread out, get ready to face military punishment. Tang Zi warned and glared coldly at the soldiers behind her. Her tone was stern when giving the command, "Send the princess back to her manor instantly. I will report to His Majesty now." "Yes, Commander." Everyone responded in full respect. Tang Zi glanced at her people one more time before turning around. She disappeared like a gust of wind from the courtyard. Zheng He Hallfeng Tianyu leaned against the headboard while an imperial physician checked his pulse. After a moment, the imperial physician frowned deeper as time passed. His old and aged face seemed helpless. When Feng Tianyu saw the imperial physician's facial expression, he had already predicted the outcome. His lip curved upwards a little. Imperial physician Liu, I know my own body. Just give me hawthorn berries later, then you may leave. Imperial physician Liu kneeled down with a thud. He sobbed, Your Majesty, you must not consume hawthorn berries anymore. Although it can replenish your energy and make you healthy in a short time, it comes with side effects. Your health will eventually deteriorate. Feng Tianyu frowned a little, but his voice remained indifferent. It doesn't matter, I will hold on for her as long as I can. If the people get to know that I have fallen sick, it will bring disaster to Liu Yun Kingdom. I am not willing to see Qing'e get hurt. In these past few years, his health had been deteriorating. He was aware of it. Everyone thought he was as fit as a fiddle, but it was only because of the hawthorn berries. After all, he could only live for a few more years. If he could hold on longer and do more work, perhaps he could avenge Yang'e. He was willing to sacrifice anything as long as it was worth it. Your Majesty. Suddenly, a guard came in and reported to him respectfully, Commander of the Iron-Blooded Troop, Tang Zi, requests to meet Your Majesty. Feng Tianyu was startled. As he knew, Tang Zi had rarely left the small courtyard unless it was for a very important reason. Was it due to Qing'e? All of you can leave now. Let Tang Zi come in. He tried to sit up by holding onto the bed for support. He coughed a few times. The hawthorn berry he had last eaten had already lost its effect. So, he was unable to look as healthy as he usually was. Everyone bowed and left. Meanwhile, a person with a strong and heroic silhouette walked in from the entrance. She clasped her fists and bowed respectfully. Tang Zi has come to pay respects to Your Majesty. You can forego the formality. Feng Tianyu raised his hand once. Is there anything that you want to report to me? Your Majesty, just now. Princess Royal managed to break through Earth Warrior tier and I think her breakthrough situation was a bit unusual. That's why I have especially come to report it to Your Majesty in hopes that Your Majesty can advise me on this matter. Chapter 110. It was a huge embarrassment too soon after. Tang Zi mentioned a few changes in Fengruqing, especially the fact that she could make a breakthrough from beginner warrior tier to the Earth Warrior tier in as short as 2 months. Nobody could be this talented as she was. Feng Tianyu smiled slightly. I see. I also did not know that a breakthrough from beginner warrior tier to the Earth Warrior tier could have this much impact. It might be because of the talent possessed by Qing'e. By the way, I've had her tested when she was young, and she did have exceptional talent. However, Fengruqing met noble consort Rong, who had a great influence on her for 10 years when she reached the age suitable for training. She became vile under the control of noble consort Rong. Noble consort Rong even dismissed all the teachers sent by Feng Tianyu for Fengruqing. So, Fengruqing never did have any real training in all these years. Everyone thought that she was a nobody without any talent, but they did not know that she was an exceptional genius. She had just never trained seriously. My daughter will never be weaker than anybody. Feng Tianyu was filled with pride when he said this. Tang Zi did not say anything more. The princess is talented. She just never had any serious training, so nobody knows about her talent. The state preceptor, Nanxian, mentioned before that Qing'e is talented. It's just that her talent and potential have not been fully discovered. He even predicted that Qing'e could grow and improve only when she has encountered a great incident when she is 16 years old. That's true. Qing'e nearly died when she turned 16. She has awakened now and became a different person. She's more sensible now. Fengruqing would be able to understand the reason that she was not doubted if she was here. It was only because of what the state preceptor had said before. Your Majesty, may I ask bluntly of the background of the state preceptor? The state preceptor? I don't know. He might be from a family which lives apart from the rest of the world. Of course, this is just my speculation. He came without any reason a few years ago. Feng Tianyu had great trust in Tang Zi, so he did not hide anything from her. But, I just have a kind of feeling that he came specially for Qing'e. Tang Zi was shocked and raised her head. For the princess. This is only a kind of feeling. I feel that he came for Qing'e. But he did not have any contact with Qing'er these past few years. I thought that I was wrong until he took up Feng Ruqing as his disciple. Feng Tianyu then understood that what the state preceptor did was all for Qing'er. It was all for the princess who had changed when she encountered a great incident that year. Your Majesty, does the princess know about this? Qing'er doesn't have to know about this. I believe that the state preceptor means no harm. Feng Tianyu smiled and shook his head. But the state preceptor said that Feng Ruqing's body is a little special. There might be a big problem if she drinks any wine. So, I have never allowed her to touch any wine no matter how much I love her. Tang Zi's face became so white. The princess. Is it true that she will be in great trouble if she drinks wine? No way. I must go to the princess manor. The princess cannot get into any trouble. Your Majesty, I need to return to continue my training. Please dismiss me. Go ahead. Feng Tianyu waved his hand and looked at Tang Zi when she left the place. He soon fell into deep thought. Tang Zi was in a rush the whole way to the princess manor. Her clothes were drenched in sweat and there was anxiety in her eyes. She did not inform His Majesty about that incident. It seemed that His Majesty was unwell these past few days, and she could not worry him more. She just hoped that she could get to the princess manor quicker to avoid any harm being inflicted upon the princess. Chapter 111. It was a huge embarrassment. Tang Zi heard a loud and shrill scream just as she reached the door of the princess manor. It made her so nervous that her legs shook and she nearly fell down. She did not wait any longer. She immediately rushed into the princess manor. She saw that Qing Ling was dressed shabbily from afar and was running away from the room with tears in her eyes. Tang Zi's face darkened. She ran into the room quickly. She saw that Ling Yun was sitting on the floor with a shocked expression. Beside her was Liu Li, who was hugging her own chest tightly. What happened? Tang Zi was so shocked that she did not know what had happened. Feng Ruqing came swiftly to stand in front of Tang Zi when Tang Zi was still recovering her senses. Feng Ruqing was standing there like a large mountain, and the other people had difficulty breathing. Beautiful, Feng Ruqing raised her hand to touch Tang Zi's chin. Can you sleep with me tonight? Tang Zi's face darkened even more. Is the princess drunk? Tang Zi, what should we do now? Ling Yun turned and looked at Tang Zi with a helpless face. I had just sent the princess back, and the princess soon woke up. I thought that she would be sober by now. But I didn't know that she's still drunk, and she even humiliated 2 palace maids. Thinking of how Qing Li had run away from the room crying, and looking at how Liu Li was hugging herself like that, Tang Zi walked forward and slapped Feng Ruqing hard on the back of her neck. Ling Yun was shocked. That's the princess. How could Tang Zi harm the princess? She was just there looking at how Feng Ruqing humiliated the 2 palace maids without being brave enough to interfere. What's more important now is to stop the princess from doing any more harm. Tang Zi held up the princess' body. Her facial expression was even worse now. Never let the princess drink any more wine from now on. Not even a single drop. Moreover, come and help me. The princess is too heavy. Okay. Ling Yun went forward and helped Tang Zi to hold Feng Ruqing's body up. They carefully put her on her bed. Tang Zi wiped at her own sweat. She turned and looked at Liu Li. It'll be fine when she wakes up. Don't ever mention this incident to a soul. Luckily, the princess had only humiliated 2 palace maids. Her reputation would be affected if she had humiliated men. Indeed, Feng Ruqing could drink no more wine from now on. Liu Li nodded in tears. The reputation of the princess was protected. But what about her reputation and Qing Ling's reputation? The time was late. Tang Zi gave a few orders before leaving the princess manor with Ling Yun. The moon was high up in the sky. The wind was blowing softly. The bed linen was blown, and it danced softly in the air. The girl who was sleeping soundly on the bed woke up and opened her eyes slowly. She rubbed her temples, and there was confusion in her eyes. Am I in the princess manor? Feng Ruqing still remembered that she wanted to drink wine with the people from the iron-blooded troop. But she did not know that she would faint after drinking just a bowl of wine, even when that wine was mixed with water. She was now in the princess manor after she woke up. Her face darkened. Now, I'm thoroughly embarrassed. I didn't know that my body cannot endure the effect of wine. I fainted just after a bowl of wine. That's just too embarrassing. How can I meet people from the iron-blooded troop in future? Fine. It's just that I'm unable to drink wine. That's not a big deal. She rubbed her temples again and sat up. She then frowned and shouted, Qing Ling, Liu Li. A deep silence. Where on earth are these two girls? They didn't even prepare a bowl of sobering soup for me. Chapter 112. Misfortune comes even when you do nothing. Feng Ruqing picked up the coat hanging beside her and walked out of the room when the two palace maids did not appear. The yard in the princess manor was quiet and serene. Qing Ling was sweeping the dried leaves in the yard. She raised her head and saw Feng Ruqing, who had just walked out of the room. Qing Ling was so scared that she shook fearfully and she dropped the broom in her hands. Qing Ling. Feng Ruqing smiled and walked toward Qing Ling. Her smile was sweet, but it made Qing Ling so frightened that Qing Ling screamed, turned, and ran away. Feng Ruqing's face immediately darkened. Why did this girl run away when she saw me? Am I that frightening? Liu Li appeared in front of Feng Ruqing when her face was darkened. Liu Li, you, Feng Ruqing shouted happily. Clink. Liu Li was so startled that she dropped the glass in her hand. She looked up anxiously and bit her lip. Princess, you're awake. Liu Li, what happened? Why do I feel that you're afraid of me? Liu Li kept quiet. How should she reply? How could Qing Ling tell the princess that she tore their clothes like a beast just a few hours ago? Could Qing Ling say that she even humiliated them? Qing Ling could not bring herself to tell the truth. The truth was truly unspeakable. Moreover, what could be done even if Qing Ling told the truth? Did they want the princess to be responsible for it? Would His Majesty not just kill them instead? Princess, Qing Ling and I were just frightened by the snow wolf today. We haven't recovered from that. Is little Wolfie that daring so as to bully you? Feng Ruqing sneered and gnawed her teeth in anger. Just don't feed him the divine spirit fruit these few days. Give it a lesson. Feng Ruqing patted Liu Li's shoulder after this. The time is late. Stop cleaning up and go and rest now. This cleanliness of the princess manor was always the responsibilities of these two palace maids because Feng Ruqing did not hire any more palace maids. They were exhausted these past few days. It was time for her to hire more spirit beasts. The snow wolf was resting at the mountain when suddenly its nose was itchy, and it sneezed. It used its paws to rub at its nose. It felt that there must be somebody who was talking about it. It did not care about that much. It turned and continued to lie on the spirit herb farm. It hugged the divine spirit fruit tree, smiled in satisfaction, and continued its rest. The next day. The sunlight was warm and nice. The snow wolf turned, getting ready to wake up. Suddenly, a large face appeared in front of it. The face smiled at it. The snow wolf was so scared that it woke up quickly. Its paws were patting at its own chest to soothe the quickening heartbeat. The snow wolf was scared and frightened. There must be something wrong with this human. If not, why would her smile be so wicked? Little Wolfie, I heard that you bullied my palace maids. Feng Ruqing crossed her arms and looked down on the snow wolf. Her smile was bright like the sunlight. It made the snow wolf so scared that it had goosebumps. It sneezed. Bully people? How could I do that? I'm not so daring and brave. Moreover, they are under the princess protection. You're so honest to admit it. Then, I'll just stop you from eating the divine spirit fruit for 3 days only. The snow wolf was stunned. I admitted that I bullied the palace maids. When did I admit that? This vile human. How could she put words into my mouth, knowing that I cannot speak? The snow wolf was so angry that its fur stood on end. The spirit beasts around the place were frightened, and all of them came and stood around the snow wolf and Feng Ruqing. The spirit beasts looked at the snow wolf vigilantly. They were afraid that the snow wolf would attack Feng Ruqing. Chapter 113. Misfortune comes even when you do nothing. Then, the The snow wolf was so angry that it lay on the ground. It rolled around on the ground until its white fur was covered with dust and sand. Get up. Foam Ruching felt that the snow wolf was embarrassing her. Her face darkened as she barked at the snow wolf. The snow wolf whimpered. Foam Ruking's face darkened even more. She felt that this little wolf had now turned into a little dog. Although she loved small animals acting cute, it did not mean that she could bear how this little wolf was acting like a spoilt child. Little Wolfie, I'll give you a chance to make it up. Foam Ruching glared at Snow Wolf for a long while, and suddenly she smiled and said, if you could help me with something, I'll not punish you this time. The Snow Wolf soon stopped rolling around and got up immediately. It looked at Foam Ruching eagerly. Come. Go to the Beast Mountain with me. The Princess Manor was just too peaceful recently. Nobody had dared to come and disrupt the peace at the Princess Manor. Thus, the Snow Wolf's power was wasted. So, Foam Ruching could not let this happen given that she fed the Snow Wolf with the Divine Spirit fruit every day. She must let the Snow Wolf do something for her. Foam Ruching felt the presence of the 2 Imperial Guards just as she stepped out of the Princess Manor. She stopped, but did not turn to face them. The 2 of you can stop protecting me. I have the Snow Wolf with me. There's no danger. If you continue to follow me, I'll think that you're spying on me. No one could know what she was going to do next. So, she needed to dismiss the 2 Imperial Guards. Behind her, the 2 Imperial Guards were stunned. They turned to look at each other anxiously. What do we do now? The first Imperial Guards frowned and asked the second Imperial Guard. The second Imperial Guard looked at Foam Ruching and the Snow Wolf and smiled helplessly. Nobody will dare to harm the princess with the Tier 3 spirit beast by her side in this imperial city. If we follow her forcefully, the princess might get angry. So, let's just head back to report to His Majesty. Although the princess had changed a lot recently, her temper was not good. They did not dare to infuriate her. The 2 Imperial Guards looked at each other. Then, they turned and headed back to the palace. Foam Ruching had never left the Imperial City since she was born. The 2 Imperial Guards just thought that Foam Ruching was just walking around in the Imperial City. They did not know that Foam Ruching was going to leave the Imperial City to go to the Forest of Spirit Beasts. The Forest of Spirit Beasts was large, and it linked 6 kingdoms together. Liu Yun Kingdom was situated at the east of the Forest of Spirit Beasts. Foam Ruching could only go to the outer area of the forest with her strength and ability now. If she stepped into the depths of the forest, not even the Tier 3 Snow Wolf could protect her. However, the outer area of the forest was as large as the Imperial City. It seemed that the number of spirit beasts in the mainland was high. Snow Wolf, the success lies in you this time. Foam Ruching smiled and patted the Snow Wolf's head. After that, Foam Ruching took down the chair on the Snow Wolf's back. At the same time, she also took out a roll of paper. A loud and ferocious roar was heard not far away. That roar increased Foam Ruching's heart rate. But, she was not afraid. She was just excited. She smiled and sat down cross-legged. She looked at the silhouette that was running fast toward her. A leopard was seen running at lightning speed and entering Foam Ruching's sight in the midst of a strong wind. The leopard was ferocious. It seemed that Foam Ruching's presence was unwelcomed here. Soon, the leopard stood before Foam Ruching. Chapter 114. Do you want a job? I wait. Foam Ruching raised her hand to stop the leopard's movement when it entered Foam Ruching's sight. All spirit beasts had gained their wisdom when they became spirit beasts. So, the leopard was stunned and stopped moving subconsciously when it saw Foam Ruching's action. It looked at Foam Ruching suspiciously. What is this human trying to say before her death? Little leopard, Foam Ruching smiled and said in a slow and seductive voice, do you want a job? Job? What is that? The leopard was stunned for a while. It roared and raised its paw at Foam Ruching. A roar was heard. The Snow Wolf, which was hiding beside Foam Ruching, came to stand in front of her quickly just before the paw of the leopard could hit her. The Snow Wolf roared and pounced onto the leopard. Initially, Foam Ruching was scared that the force of a Tier 3 Snow Wolf would scare the spirit beasts away. So, Feng-Ruching asked the snow wolf to hide its force and presence. Now that the leopard saw a Tier 3 spirit beast who was standing beside the human, it was frightened, and shook in fear. Boom! The leopard fell down because it could not endure the snow wolf's weight. The leopard shook its dizzy head and looked up with vacant eyes. A smiling face entered the leopard's line of sight. Feng-Ruching used a sweet voice to persuade the leopard. Do you want a job? This time, the leopard did not act on its impulse anymore. It sat down on the floor without moving. It peered at the snow wolf in fear from time to time. You don't have to look at the snow wolf. Just look at me. Feng-Ruching raised her hand and opened the roll of paper in front of the leopard. Do you understand? The leopard still wore a blank face. What is that? The leopard did not understand. Feng-Ruching turned and looked at the snow wolf when she found that the leopard was in confusion. Are spirit beasts illiterate? The snow wolf nodded its head sincerely. Feng-Ruching's face darkened. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You're wasting my time. The snow wolf seemed innocent. But, you did not ask me. How am I supposed to know what you wrote just now? Feng-Ruching was not bothered by the snow wolf. She turned and looked at the leopard. Then, I'll just make it short. I want you to work for me. I'll order somebody to tell you what you need to do. As a reward, I'll feed you a piece of divine spirit fruit every day. Feng-Ruching held out her hand, and there was a piece of divine spirit fruit in her hand. The leopard looked at the divine spirit fruit in Feng-Ruching's hand eagerly. Its saliva was threatening to fall down. It quickly used its paw to rub at its mouth. It did not accept the fruit immediately, but it fell into deep thought. Do you still need time to consider? Why do you need to consider it given that this is such a good thing? The divine spirit fruit is only just a part of it. I'll feed you more spirit herbs in the future. If I'm in a good mood, I'll even feed you spirit herbs dishes. The fragrance of the divine spirit fruit was just too good to be resisted even for a leopard. The leopard could not resist it, and lastly, it accepted it with difficulty. You're so good. Feng-Ruching patted the leopard's head. Little leopard, you're one of us from now on. Work for me, diligently, and I won't mistreat you. These innocent spirit beasts were just too easy to be fooled. On the other hand, Feng-Ruching had used quite some time when she wanted to fool the snow wolf before this. It would be more difficult if she wanted to fool the state preceptor's snake. Two of you go and stand at the side. Remember to hide your force and presence. Don't scare away other spirit beasts. Little Wolfie, go and teach the leopard how to do it. Chapter 115. Do you want a job? Tuawoo. The snow wolf howled once as if indicating to Feng-Ruching that it knew what to do. Shut up. Feng-Ruching scanned the place. I'll definitely stop feeding you the divine spirit fruit for 3 days if your roar scares away the other spirit beasts. The snow wolf quickly kept its mouth shut. There's nothing more important than the divine spirit fruit. In fact, a spirit beast came down from the sky just as the two spirit beasts hid their presence. This time around, it was an eagle. It was a Tier 2 spirit beast like the leopard. Its sharp claws were like long swords, and they came at Feng-Ruching swiftly. The snow wolf and the leopard jumped out when the eagle was near Feng-Ruching. They jumped forward and bit the eagle's claws. It hurts. It hurts. The eagle almost burst into tears. It swung its claws vigorously to escape from the leopard and the snow wolf, but in vain. It then circled around in the sky anxiously. Who can explain to it why there were a leopard and a snow wolf when it just wanted a human as a snack? Feng-Ruching held out her hand to signal to the snow wolf and the leopard. The two spirit beasts understood and held on tightly to the eagle. The eagle was held still. The eagle cried at last. It looked at the young girl who was walking toward it. The smile on the girl's face made the eagle shook with fear. However, the girl stopped in front of the eagle, smiled and asked, "Do you want a job?" The sunset came, and the afterglow of the sunlight gave a soft glow to the sky. A young girl was sitting outside the forest of spirit beasts. There were a lot of spirit beasts standing behind her. The snow wolf, a leopard, an eagle, a red fox, a griffin, and a purple sable. At that very moment, the ground shook vigorously. The young girl raised her eyes and saw an incoming bear. The bear was gigantic and was running toward the girl. The bear's legs shook heavily, it might be because of its power and strength. A Tier 3 Earth Bear? Feng Ruking's eyes narrowed. There's even a Tier 3 spirit beast here? It's really so easy to gain what I want. This Tier 3 Earth Bear must be the king of the spirit beasts in the outer region of the Forest of Spirit Beasts. Indeed, this is only the outer area. If we go into the middle area of the forest, this Earth Bear is not as worthy as it is here. The Snow Wolf and the Leopard quickly rushed forward without waiting for Feng Ruking's order. Feng Ruqing did not know what they told the Earth Bear because she did not know their language. But she could guess its content easily. Do you want a job? After a short while, the strong and powerful Earth Bear restrained itself. It followed the Snow Wolf and came toward Feng Ruqing obediently. Sure enough, I just need to come to the Forest of Spirit Beasts on my own if I want the Spirit Beasts to work for me. That way, I can save a lot of money. Feng Ruqing was ecstatic. A Tier 3 Spirit Beast was so valuable that it could even act as an exceptional and precious treasure in the Spirit Beast Court. The Snow Wolf nudged Feng Ruking's leg with its head as if telling her not to forget about its value. Little Wolfie, I'll not punish you anymore given that you've contributed a lot today. Feng Ruqing smiled and patted the Snow Wolf on its head. The Snow Wolf was stunned. What about its reward? But, if you sign a contract with me, Feng Ruking's eyes narrowed. I'll feed you more divine spirit fruits every day. The Snow Wolf was so excited that it roared loudly. Contract. Let's sign the contract now. Quickly. Feng Ruking's smile deepened when she saw how happy the Snow Wolf was. Let's go now. I'll give you some tasks to do after we go back. Chapter 116. An Attack by the Spirit Beasts. Princess Feng Ruqing had disappeared. This news was like a whirlwind and it traveled fast in Liu Yun Kingdom. The princess was missing since bringing the Snow Wolf out of the Princess Manor in the morning. The Imperial Guards who were guarding the entrance of the Princess Manor never stopped the princess from heading out because they knew that there were 2 other Imperial Guards who followed the princess everywhere she went. But they never considered the possibility of the princess dismissing the Imperial Guards. It was a whole day since the princess had gone out. It was evening now and she had yet to return. Many Imperial armies galloped at a high speed in the busy street of the Imperial city. It scared the vendors and all of the vendors hid in the corners without uttering a word. They could foresee that this Imperial city would always be in chaos when the princess went missing. Did the princess really leave with the Snow Wolf? Mu Qing'er was stunned and looked at the Imperial Guards at the side of the road. She was worried. The princess' disappearance was a good thing for them if this had happened in the past. They did not have to worry that they might infuriate the evil princess every day they went out the door. However, she understood that the princess had indeed changed after the 2 previous encounters. The princess has changed. She will not simply leave the place with the Snow Wolf. Zhao Yang sighed. He consoled himself like this in his heart. But he still could not believe that the princess could survive under the claws and teeth of the Snow Wolf after spending time alone with the Snow Wolf. Moreover, it was an untamed Snow Wolf. Lin Yueying, who was standing beside Mu Qing'er, tugged at Mu Qing'er's sleeve quickly to stop Mu Qing'er from speaking anymore. Mu Qing'er was stunned as she saw a familiar and beautiful figure when she raised her head. The young girl's body was slender and her waist was slim. She was holding a feather fan and she used it to cover her smile. Are you waiting for my sister? Feng Ruquang smiled. Luckily, no one noticed her smile because of her fan. My sister was so stubborn. Tier 3 spirit beasts are very savage. I've advised her before but she never listens. She just wants the Tier 3 spirit beasts. Mu Qing'er bit her lips and kept quiet. Nobody spoke. All of them looked at the slim figure in front of them. My sister would be fine if there were Imperial Guards protecting her. Who knew that my sister was so brave to dismiss the Imperial Guards? She told me once that she could tame that Snow Wolf, she would dismiss the other people. Now, my sister might never come back. Feng Ruqing sounded so anguished. She blinked her eyes and there were even a few tears running down her cheek. Her eyebrows showed great sadness. It was a pitiful sight. Everybody present might have believed that Feng Rushuang was indeed anxious about her sister if the present situation was not that serious. Second princess. Zhao Yang's eyebrows knitted. Do you know that the young master from the general manor, Nailan Jing, is almost on the verge of insanity? All the people in the general manor have gone out to search for the princess. Feng Rushuang was stunned. Her gentle voice showed great worry. I am most certainly anxious about the disappearance of my sister. But, I've advised her for so many times but she never listens. What can I do? Anxious? Zhao Yang sneered and laughed sarcastically. If you're indeed worried about your sister, how do you have the time to tell us this nonsense here? You always say that you have an intimate relationship with your sister and you're always so caring about her. So, why are you not searching for her anxiously now that she is missing? Why do you still have time to come and look for us? Chapter 117, An Attack by the Spirit Beasts. Zhao Yang did not care about Feng Rushuang's status and it might be because of his disappointment. But, everybody knew that His Majesty had never favored Feng Rushuang. If His Majesty knew that Feng Rushuang came out to gossip about this incident, His Majesty would not punish Zhao Yang no matter what he did. Why should he be worried? Mu Qing'er and Lin Yueying still kept quiet. That's right. Aren't you worried about her? Now that she's missing, why do you have the time to chat with us? Isn't it better if you go and look for her instead of staying here? This kind of concern seems so hypocritical. Feng Rushuang's facial expression changed. All of these sons and daughters of the ministers had favored her before because of the effort and time she put in. Now that they had gotten along well with Feng Ruching several times, her effort these past few years had gone to waste. Zhao Yang. Feng Rushuang kept her worried look but with a hint of a sneer in her eyes. She smiled coldly. Have you forgotten what Feng Ruching did to you before? Now you're on her side because of a herbal dish. Zhao Yang was stunned. He looked at Feng Rushuang for a short while. Then, he lowered his gaze. Second princess, you're really envious of her. They never noticed it all these past years. Besides, they had been lied to all along. They had always respected the second princess before. However, many things did not make sense. All of these things made sense now and they had started to doubt Feng Rushuang. I remember now. Lin Yueying bit her lips. She took 2 steps forward. You had always appeared at the right moment every time Feng Ruching bullies us. You appeared and you helped us. Just like that, Feng Ruching would always let us go when you came to help. It seems that the first princess was just too dumb to notice it. You've used her well. Second princess, aren't you afraid that His Majesty would know about it? Mu Qing'er was always timid and shy. But, she came and stood beside Lin Yueying now. Mu Qing'er looked at Feng Rushuang angrily. In fact, Feng Ruching was not the only dumb person here. They were all fooled by Feng Rushuang before. They never would have known Feng Rushuang's true self if Feng Ruching did not disappear this time. How long would they be fooled by her? Feng Rushuang was rather annoyed. She was really happy about Feng Ruching's disappearance. His Majesty was so nervous and anxious that he could not be bothered about her. So, she had snuck out of the palace just to celebrate it in a deserted place. She never guessed that she would encounter these people on her way out. Hence, she did not hide her excitement properly. Nobody knew that they would look right through her just because of this small incident. What you have said is useless now. Feng Rushuang was in a good mood. She did not blame these people for their impertinence. She just sighed softly and said, I've advised her when she tried to buy the Tier 3 snow wolf. Her strength is so low that she could never tame the snow wolf. If she still wanted to buy it, it would be the end for her. But she never listened. What could I do? Now, she's so brave that she dares to spend time alone with the snow wolf. It's just like feeding herself to the snow wolf. What she has done is like committing suicide. It's pointless for me to be anxious and nervous about her. Liu Yuchen was so ashamed to mention the role of the snow wolf as a doorkeeper at the Princess Manor after he was attacked by the snow wolf. So, nobody knew about it. Second princess. Lin Yueying clenched her fists tightly. The princess has just gone missing. How would you know if she's dead? Chapter 118, An Attack by the Spirit Beasts. 3 Feng Rushuang sneered inwardly. But her face was calm. Feng Ruking's only at beginner warrior tier, while the Snow Wolf is a tier 3 spirit beast. Do you think that there's any chance that my sister could win? That's only lying to yourselves. Lin Yueying was offended. But she saw a small figure pass by her side just then. Lin Yueying was shocked and she quickly held onto the person who was walking toward the entrance of the city. It was Daya. Daya, why are you here? Why did Daya leave General Manor? Do the people in General Manor know about it? Nalan Daya was shocked. She turned and saw Feng Rushuang first. She was frightened and she quickly moved closer to Lin Yueying. Villain. Big villain. Lin Yueying and the others were stunned. Nalan Daya had always been kept locked in the General Manor after that incident. Moreover, Nalan Daya and Feng Rushuang had never appeared in front of the others together. So, Lin Yueying and the others did not know that Nalan Daya was that frightened of Feng Rushuang. Daya, just head back to the General Manor. If not, your grandfather would be worried. Lin Yueying looked at Feng Rushuang before she turned to look at Daya and ordered. Nalan Daya was still shaking with fear. Her eyes were filled with tears. The sight of her was pitiful. My brother said that my cousin has gone to Forest of Spirit Beasts. He went to search for her. I want to go too. Daya, aren't you afraid of her? My cousin is a good person. She's not a villain. I'm not afraid of her. My cousin does not bully me anymore. I'm not afraid of her now. Zhao Yang suddenly took a few steps forward. He held Daya's shoulders. Daya, did you say that the princess has gone to the Forest of Spirit Beasts? Forest of Spirit Beasts? What kind of place is that? There's a tier 3 spirit beast next to the princess. Why does she need to go to the Forest of Spirit Beasts? Daya nodded. I want to go and search for my cousin. She was eavesdropping on the conversation between her father and her brother. Then, she discovered that the princess had gone to the Forest of Spirit Beasts. Her grandfather was very anxious about it. She could then leave General Manor when nobody was free to bother about her. But, I don't know the way. Daya lowered her head in sadness. She did not know which way led to the Forest of Spirit Beasts. Suddenly, Feng Rushuang laughed sarcastically. It seems that my sister will never come back alive. Not to mention the tier 3 spirit beast, the Snow Wolf. Any spirit beasts from the outer area of the Forest of Spirit Beasts could easily take her life. It's a pity. It's too unfortunate. His Majesty had only 2 daughters. If Feng Ruqing was dead, then Feng Rushuang could claim the throne as well as the world. No one can threaten my status now. Feng Rushuang laughed hysterically in her heart. Feng Rushuang wanted to laugh out loud. But her laugh was stopped short. A sound which could move the earth and sway the mountain was heard from outside of the entrance of the city. It scared the Imperial Guards and all of them pulled out their weapons in fear. They looked far ahead nervously. There was smoke and dust everywhere. It was like a storm had come and the dust was swirled all around the place. There was an image of a wolf in the midst of the dust. In addition to that, a plump body was seated on top of the wolf. The Imperial Guards rubbed at their eyes nervously. Suddenly, they realized that it was not only an image in the midst of the dust. Quick! Go and report to the general. The spirit beasts had come to attack the city. Go quickly. An Imperial Guard was fast to react. He quickly rushed into the city. Chapter 119, An Attack by the Spirit Beasts. For an attack by the Spirit Beasts. The people in the Imperial City soon felt frightened after hearing about it. There were quite a number of warriors in this Imperial City. There was never an incident where the Spirit Beasts would come and attack the city. Even so, the people would surely die when the warriors rushed to the rescue. Let's go quickly. Liu Yueying's facial expression changed. She held Daya's hand and led her away from the scene. She never even guessed that Daya would let go of her hand and rushed toward the entrance of the city. Daya! Lin Yueying shouted anxiously. A cold sweat dripped down along her spine. She could not leave Daya behind. She said, Go and report to General Manor. I'll go and search for Daya. Daya was weak and she could not move fast enough. Lin Yuing reached her soon after. She was on the verge of leading Daya away when suddenly, she saw a familiar figure in the midst of the dust. Her eyes narrowed at the sight. The snow wolf walked far ahead in the group of the spirit beasts. It walked proudly with elegant steps. Its eyes looked evil and they were filled with disdain toward the human. There were other spirit beasts behind the snow wolf and the young girl. A leopard, an eagle, a red fox, a griffin, and a purple sable. There was even an earth bear. That's a tier 3 earth bear? It seems like the earth bear is the king of the spirit beasts in the outer region of the forest of spirit beasts. I've fought with it before and I could not win in the fight. Why is it here? Has its wife been kidnapped by anybody in the city? Has it come to attack the city? Wait. Don't you think that the plump body on top of the snow wolf looks familiar? That seems to be Princess Feng-Ruching. Everybody seemed to compose themselves. They looked at the girl who had brought a group of spirit beasts and had entered the imperial city and shocked the entire city. The imperial guards who were guarding the entrance of the city did not recover their senses. They looked at the princess and the group of spirit beasts without any response. They did not dare to stop them from entering the city. They just looked at the princess and the spirit beasts blankly. Feng-Ruching was shocked when she entered the city. There seemed to be a lot of people gathered at the entrance of the city today. There were even a few familiar faces in the crowd. All of them looked at her and it made her feel uneasy. Why are you here? She rode on the snow wolf and moved toward Lin Yuing and the group. The group of people who were intending to go to General Manor to report the incident had now stopped halfway. The street was so quiet now that even the sound of the fallen leaves could be heard. Cousin. Daya shook off Lin Yuing's hand and ran toward Feng-Ruching happily. It seemed that Daya was a little bit afraid of the snow wolf. She stopped before reaching Feng-Ruching and looked at Feng-Ruching eagerly. Snow wolf. Feng-Ruching's face darkened. The snow wolf was so frightened that it almost got down on its stomach. I did not do anything wrong. Why is she always so angry with me? But the snow wolf did not resist Feng-Ruching. It walked toward Daya and wagged its tail happily. It even licked Daya's sweet face. The crowd stayed silent. Was it a wolf or a dog? Lin Yuing sighed in relief after realizing that the snow wolf was very obedient. Then, she turned and looked at Feng-Ruching who was still there, as if challenging her presence. Didn't you say that the snow wolf is ferocious and savage, and that it would never be tamed by Feng-Ruching and would even eat Feng-Ruching? Chapter 120. Feng-Ruching was dumbfounded. Feng-Ruching stood rooted to the spot, her eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. As she could feel the many curious eyes staring at her, she grew increasingly aggrieved. She pursed her lips, and the color drained from her face. What has made Feng-Ruching so special? Someone in the palace has actually helped her tame the snow wolf, but I get nothing at all. Feng-Ruching has even ruined the good reputation that I have built with effort over the years. With Feng-Ruching's capability, she was naturally not capable of taming a tier 3 spirit beast. Feng-Ruching thought someone in the palace must have tamed the snow wolf for her. Sister, it's great that you have returned. I thought that you have become the snow wolf's meal. This spirit beast is too vicious. Even if someone has tamed it for you, it might not bow its head to you. Feng-Ruching heaved a sigh, suppressed her anger, and walked toward Feng-Ruching with a forced smile on her face. Originally, Feng-Ruching only wanted to mock at Feng-Ruching. However, her words had actually stirred up the snow wolf's anger. Suddenly, the snow wolf howled furiously and gave Feng-Ruching a hard kick. Caught off guard, Feng-Ruching was sent flying backward and finally falling into the crowd. The flying kick had nearly broken her bones. Her head was covered in cold sweat as the color drained from her face. However, this time, the people around her were just watching from not a far distance. Not only did none of them walk over and help her on her feet, no one actually cared about her. Howl. The snow wolf pointed its claws at Feng-Ruching. A furious rage like a fire swept over its body. Its eyes stared indignantly at Feng-Ruching with murderous intent as if craving for human flesh. What does this vicious woman wants to say? Since when did this snow wolf of the heavenly mountain mess with Feng Rushuang? And she even said that the snow wolf was not loyal and respectful to the master. Had she ever seen such an obedient dog, wolf? Apparently, this vicious woman wanted to take away the divine spirit fruit. The snow wolf would definitely not allow her to slander its good name. Seeing the snow wolf angrily pointing its claws at Feng Rushuang, Feng Ruking's face darkened a few shades. The snow wolf kept howling, but who was capable of understanding what it was trying to say? Speak human language. Feng Ruqing patted the snow wolf's head as she said. The snow wolf turned to look at Feng Ruqing. Do you think a wolf could speak human language? Do you think a wolf could turn into a human? Cough. Cough. Feng Rushuang coughed as she got up from the ground. With a pale face, her glazed eyes swept over the people surrounding her, waiting to watch her reaction. She could not help but feel a hint of fear in her heart. Feng Rushuang had always been so kind to these people. Whenever Feng Ruqing bullied them, she would stand up and stop her. Now that they had actually turned their heads to please Feng Ruqing. Great. I would never let these people off easily. Feng Rushuang's malicious gaze swept past the people surrounding her before she turned and stumbled forward desolately. Cousin Ruqing, this big wolf looks like a dog. Seeing that the snow wolf was so adorable and obedient, Daya was no longer scared. She tugged at the corner of Feng Ruqing's sleeve as she said, "Yup, this is a watchdog." Feng Ruqing stroked Daya's head. The snow wolf that Feng Ruqing rode on nodded enthusiastically. Chapter 121. Feng Rushuang was dumbfounded too. The snow wolf was a wolf. Well, everything was fine as long as the snow wolf got the divine spirit fruit. Daya, let me send you home. Feng Ruqing stretched her arm to carry Daya and let her sit on the snow wolf's back. Daya was extremely curious and excited. Her hands were stroking ceaselessly at the snow wolf's hair as she grinned. The sound of her laughter was bright and cheerful. Yu Ying, Zhao Yang, and Qing'er, do you want to go to General Manor together? Feng Ruqing turned to ask the few people next to her. A bright smile hung on her lips. Your Highness, as you have not returned to Princess Manor for the whole day, His Majesty had lost his mind as he thought that something must have happened to you. The imperial troops of the imperial city are still out there looking for you. The young master of General Manor, Nalan Jing, had personally brought a squad to the Beast Mountain. Have you met him? Slightly startled, Zhao Yang nodded as he said. Feng Ruqing was rendered speechless. She had just left the imperial city for one day. It turned out that she had gone missing. It was no wonder that Feng Ruqing had actually felt that something was wrong when she stepped into the city. Tell my father that I am sending Daya to the General Manor. I will visit him in the palace after that. Feng Ruqing turned to look at the guard at the city's gate. At your command, Your Highness. The guard at the city's gate paid his respect to the princess and answered respectfully. Let's go to the General Manor. Feng Ruqing waved her hands. When the snow wolf started moving, Daya flew into a panic and quickly wrapped her arms tightly around Feng Ruqing. Feeling that Daya was frightened, the snow wolf was afraid that Daya would lose her balance and quickly slowed down. This time, Daya was no longer scared. She loosened her grip on Feng Ruqing's body. Her two little arms held onto the snow wolf's ears. Her smile was so sweet and was capable of melting one's heart. Feng Ruqing's eyes fell on the scar on Daya's face. A dull feeling filled her heart. When she successfully sows the grade 3 spirit herbs, the scar on Daya's face would vanish without a trace. In the private dining room on the second floor of a restaurant, an enchantingly handsome young master was sitting quietly with a ceramic cup in his hand. Sitting next to him was an exquisitely gorgeous lady. Her skin was fair and not inferior to the snow. She was staring affectionately at the young master who sat next to her with a faint smile on her face. Another good-looking young master sat opposite of the two people. He was talking happily with a bright smile on his face. Liu Yuchen, Feng Ruqing was your wife after all. Simply no one thought that she would die in the Beast Mountain. I heard that the young master of the General Manor personally led a squad to look for her in the Beast Mountain. I'm afraid that it's too late. A tier 3 snow wolf was already out of her hands. Let alone the abundance of spirit beasts in the Beast Mountain. Each of them was capable of taking her life. Simply no one knew why Feng Ruching would go to the Beast Mountain. Did she truly think that she was capable of taming the snow wolf and that the snow wolf could protect her? Had it not been for the master in the palace, the snow wolf would have laid its hand on Feng Ruching. However, she had actually chased the master out of the palace. This time, the snow wolf would obviously not bow its head to an ordinary human. Liu Yuchen pursed his lips. He had seen the snow wolf in the general manner. It was true that the snow wolf was on Feng Ruching's side. However, Feng Ruching entered the Beast Mountain this time. As the Beast Mountain was perilous, a Tier 3 snow wolf would not be capable of protecting her from danger. This time, Feng Ruching might definitely never return to the city. Thinking of this, a mixed feeling filled Liu Yuchen's heart. He disliked Feng Ruching merely because she had hurt Tan Shuangshuang. He had never thought that Feng Ruching would vanish from this world. Chapter 122. Feng Rushuang was dumbfounded. 3 Liu Yang, how long has Nailan Jing been searching? Is there any news from him? What? Liu Yuchen, are you still hoping that Feng Ruching would return? Have you forgotten how she treated you and Shuangshuang? The whole kingdom would be thrilled if she is dead. Who wants to see her come back again? Liu Tang broke into laughter. If Feng Ruching was truly dead, his cousin, Feng Rushuang, would be the one and only princess in Liu Yun Kingdom. In fact, Liu Yang was just telling the truth. Who would actually wish to see Feng Ruching coming back alive? If she was dead, that was the greatest news to the whole kingdom and would make the world a better place to live. Yuchen, Tan Shuangshuang's heart skipped a beat and grabbed Liu Yuchen's hand tightly. Her eyes were filled with anxiety. Shuanger, don't worry. You are still my one and only. Feng Rushuang is such a devil and is extremely annoying to me. However, she has never killed a single person. Hence, I don't think she deserves to die. Liu Yuchen patted Tan Shuangshuang's hands lightly. Feng Ruching was truly evil. She had hurt so many people and had even laid her hand on Tan Shuangshuang. However, it was true that her hands were never covered in blood. Hence, Liu Yuchen thought that her sins should not have led to death. But she has never done so because my cousin Feng Rushuang is too kind and has always stopped her from killing people. Anyways, she would never come back from the Beast Mountain again. She must have died. Liu Yang merely sneered. Liu Yuchen sighed. Liu Yang was right. Feng Ruching went into the Beast Mountain with just a Tier 3 snow wolf in tow. Naturally, it was impossible for her to return safe and sound. After all, there were actually a lot of Tier 3 spirit beasts at the Beast Mountain. Yuchen, I hope that the princess is safe. As you have said, she does not deserve to die. If we could start all over again, I would persuade you to spare her some love and maybe things would have gone completely different. She would not have gotten to the Beast Mountain to enhance her strength and ultimately ended her life in the beast's belly. Tan Shuangshuang lowered her eyes and said with a pitiful voice. Hearing this, Liu Yuchen's hands clung onto Tan Shuangshuang's waist tightly, as a dull ache tugged at his heart. Shuangshuang is such a kind lady. If only Feng Ruching was half as kind as Shuangshuang, I would not have divorced her, and she would not end up losing her life in the Beast Mountain. She could still be safe and sound in the Chancellor Manor. However, that would never happen. Feng Ruching will never return. At this time, an earth-shattering voice came from the street. Burning with curiosity, Liu Yuchen and a few people stuck their heads out of their windows. There was a vast variety of spirit beast walking on the street like a troop. The people on the street retreated to the side and gave way to them out of fear. Spirit beasts, a lot of spirit beast. Why are there so many spirit beasts in the city? The biggest one looks like Tier 3 spirit beast from the Beast Mountain, the Earth Bear. Liu Yang turned slowly to look at the street, his eyes wide opened. This time, the lady who was riding on the snow wolf turned her head around. Crack! Liu Yang's hand shook violently. The cup in his hands fell to the ground, shattering into pieces and scattering all around them. Feng Ruching. That's Feng Ruching. The person in her embrace is the young lady of General Manor, Nailan Daya. Chapter 123. Feng Rushuang was dumbfounded, for Tan Shuangshuang clenched her fists tightly. Her astonished face contorted in rage. Her vicious eyes were blazing furiously, glaring at the lady on the snow wolf's back. Feng Ruqing, why are you back again? You have gotten so much, and Liu Yuchen is the only thing that I have. Why do you still want to take him away from me? My life would be so much better without you. However, Liu Yuchen was too focused on Feng Ruqing and did not notice Tan Shuangshuang's wicked eyes. Dumbfounded, Liu Yuchen looked in the direction that Feng Ruqing was leaving the street and did not regain his composure for a long while. Feng Ruqing is back with a herd of spirit beasts. Why is the current Feng Ruqing so different from the one who was extremely annoying and good for nothing? Feng Ruqing had changed into someone that Liu Yuchen was no longer familiar with. Liu Yuchen closed his eyes. The scenes where he met Feng Ruqing in the past 2 months flashed through his mind. He suddenly realized that the lady who had always been hounding him back then had completely changed. Yuchen. Tan Shuangshuang regained her composure and looked at Liu Yuchen, who was lost in bewilderment. Her heart felt like it was pricked by a needle, her face was drained of all color. She quickly held onto Liu Yuchen's hands, and tears flowed freely from her beautiful eyes. Regaining his composure, Liu Yuchen regretted his action that had broken Shuangshuang's heart. He had actually watched Feng Ruqing for so long. Shuanger, don't worry, I was just shocked about Feng Ruqing's transformation. Yuchen, of course, I trust you. I am just thrilled to see Feng Ruqing back in the city, safe and sound. It's great that she has changed. I will keep my promise to make you spare her some love. I will no longer behave like a princess like I used to and take every inch of your love. Tan Shuangshuang broke into a smile. In the past, Liu Yuchen would quickly reject Tan Shuangshuang's suggestion as a way to comfort her. This time, Liu Yuchen did not utter a word. Tan Shuangshuang grabbed his hands forcefully, her heart was dripping blood. It was true that Liu Yuchen had grown fond of Feng Ruqing. No way. Tan Shuangshuang would never allow anyone to take Liu Yuchen away from her. Ever since Feng Ruqing had gone missing, General Manor had fallen into chaos. Nailan Jing had led a squad to look for Feng Ruqing in the Beast Mountain. As Master Nailan was aged, he nearly fainted when he heard the news. Hence, Nailan Zhongqian could only stay in General Manor to take care of his father. As the saying goes, misfortunes never come singly. Nailan Daya had gone missing too. Had it not been for the spirit wine that Nailan Junkanen had brought to Master Nailan would have undoubtedly blacked out due to panic. Suddenly, a rejoiceful voice rang. Master Nailan, General, young lady is back. Her Highness has brought young lady home. The voice echoed from the courtyard into the main hall. Hearing this, Master Nailan's body trembled as he got up with much effort. His chest was heaving, and his face was blushing with excitement. Qing'er and Daya are back safely? Zhangqiang, is it true that they are back? Yes, father, I heard that they are back. Nailan Zhongqian sighed deeply in relief. Let's go and get them. Hurry up. Master Nailan paid no heed to the people behind him and quickly rushed out. Quickening his pace, Master Nailan looked extraordinarily fit and healthy. In a flash, Master Nailan had vanished from Nailan Zhongqian's sight. Chapter 124. The enmity is as transient as a fleeting cloud. Watching the old general leaving, Nailan Zhongqian's lips curved into a smile. At this time, all the enmity buried in his heart was like a passing cloud, vanishing without a trace. As Nailan Zhongqian was still worried about Feng Ruqing, he naturally no longer held on to her wrongdoings in the past. So long as Feng Ruqing had truly changed, he would let go of the past and move on. Master Nailan rushed to the courtyard. He had even forgotten about the crutch that he had always carried with him wherever he went. At the courtyard, a wide variety of spirit beasts standing in line that looked like a well-trained troop came into sight. Seeing this, Master Nailan flew into a great panic and stopped moving. He simply did not know what had actually happened. Grandpa! A familiar voice called out. Master Nailan raised his head. The snow wolf graciously walked out from the herd of spirit beasts. Feng Ruqing jumped off the snow wolf with Nailan Daya in her arms as she slowly walked toward Master Nailan. Grandpa, I'm sorry to have made you worried. Feng Ruching said gently with a faint smile on her face. As Feng Ruching wanted to get some spirit beasts to work for her, she thought that it was not a big deal if she could return on the same day. Little did she know that she had actually caused a stir in her family and had made them worried. It was, no doubt, her fault. "It's fine as long as you are back." All the words that Master Naylan wanted to say had turned into tears. He wiped off the tears from the corners of his eyes as he spoke in a trembling voice. Standing not far away from the courtyard, Naylan Zhongqian had initially wanted to rebuke Feng Ruching. However, seeing that the courtyard was filled with spirit beasts, Naylan Zhongqian was dumbfounded. "Your Highness, you robbed the beast court?" Hearing Naylan Zhongqian, Feng Ruching's face darkened a few shades. Was she such a devil in the eyes of her own uncle? Why would she do that? Howl. The Snow Wolf was infuriated by Naylan Zhongqian's remark, as it was all its merit and had nothing to do with the bastards in the beast court. Not only did those bastards in the beast court court the Snow Wolf, but they had also taken away its hard-earned merit. Apparently, these bastards are targeting the divine spirit fruit. The Snow Wolf would never let these bastards off easily. The Snow Wolf was burning with murderous rage. Little did Naylan Zhongqian know that his words had actually put the beast court into deadly trouble and irreconcilable enmity. "Shut up. My granddaughter is not that kind of person." Master Naylan turned to glare at Naylan Zhongqian. Naylan Zhongqian did not utter a word. Robbing the beast court was extremely normal. It was true that the old princess would definitely do that. "Grandpa knows me best." Feng Ruching smiled. "Uncle, these are the workers that I have just recruited today. They will work for me." Naylan Zhongqian was rendered speechless. Feng Ruching wants the spirit beasts to work for her? Does she want to make these spirit beasts her slaves? "I am paying them for their work." Feng Ruching could read Naylan Zhongqian's mind. Her face darkened again. "Pay them? Do they know how to spend money?" Stunned, Naylan Zhongqian glanced at the spirit beasts. "Your Highness, did you deceive these spirit beasts to work for you? Please don't do that. For the Naylan family, spirit beasts are of the same rank as human beings. You just can't make them your slaves like what some of the people do out there," Naylan Zhongqian said earnestly. Chapter 125. The enmity is as transient as a fleeting cloud. 2. Hearing Naylan Zhongqian's advice, not only was Feng Ruching not infuriated, his words had actually warmed her heart, as Feng Ruching could not find a single piece of advice in the memory of the previous princess for years. Naylan Zhongqian had always been guiding and advising the princess every time she made a mistake during her childhood. However, the princess was too young to understand the reason behind it back then. Ever since she got close to the noble consort Rong, the princess had gotten more and more annoyed with Naylan Zhongqian. Moreover, Naylan Zhongqian did not have much time to guide her. As the emperor was too busy with the kingdom's affairs, noble consort Rong had gradually led her astray. There was once when Naylan Zhongqian had advised the princess again, she had retorted. Since then, Naylan Zhongqian had never chastised her again. Now that Naylan Zhongqian had given her a few words of advice, apparently, he was no longer holding a grudge against her. "What are you laughing at?" Seeing Feng Ruching laughed, Naylan Zhongqian frowned as he asked. "Uncle, my father has always been busy, and my mother passed away when I was little. I am so fortunate to have you who have always been guiding me. However, I was too ignorant and have upset you in the past. That was not all, I have even trusted noble consort Rong so much so that I have broken your heart. I will never do that again in the future." Feng Ruching smiled as she shook her head. Slightly startled, Naylan Zhongqian's body stiffened. As Naylan Zhongqian only had a son, he had treated Feng Ruching as his own daughter. When Feng Ruching was little, she was extremely adorable and sensible. However, things had completely changed ever since she had met noble consort Rong. "It is my fault. If only I could spend more time with you and keep you company when you left the palace back then, you would not have gotten closer to noble consort Rong, and things would have been entirely different." Naylan Zhongqian smiled wryly. "Uncle, do you truly think that if you have stopped me from leaving the palace alone, Feng Rushuang would not hurt herself to save me, and I would not have felt gratitude toward noble consort Rong? You are wrong. Feng Rushuang would still get hurt because of me. Feng Ruqing burst out in laughter. Feng Ruqing had said it forthrightly. Apparently, people around her could quickly understand her words. Qing'er, you are saying that the person who wanted to hurt you when you left the palace back then took orders from noble consort Rong? Master Nalan looked hard at Feng Ruqing as he held her hands tightly. If I don't know Feng Rushuang well, perhaps I would have truly thought that she would give up her own life to save mine. However, I know her so well and I know that she is such a selfish lady. Naturally, she would not do so. Hence, I suspect that this is noble consort Rong's conspiracy. Feng Ruqing lowered her eyes. However, even the emperor was not capable of getting the culprit. Noble consort Rong was really something, and someone must be backing her. Liu Rong. Nalan Zhangqian's hands balled into fists, his eyes were filled with murderous intent. If Liu Rong was truly the master behind it, she had nearly destroyed Feng Ruqing's life. Nalan Zhongqian would not let her off the hook so easily. He must take Liu Rong's life no matter who had her back. Uncle, let's not talk about this. Where is Aunt? Feng Ruqing's gaze scanned her surroundings as she asked. As Feng Ruqing's aunt loved Nalan Daya so much, she must have lost her mind, knowing that Nalan Daya had left General Manor. Since Nalan Daya was back, she must be the first person to come out. However, Feng Ruqing's aunt was nowhere to be found. Chapter 126. The young lady of the Qin family. I slightly startled, Nalan Zhongqian sighed. The young lady of the Qin family is sick. Your aunt went to the Qin family this morning and has not returned yet. She told us not to disturb her. Perhaps she does not know about this. Feng Ruqing sank into silence. Feng Ruqing's aunt Qin Yu was the eldest daughter in the Qin family. The young lady of the Qin family was her sister-in-law. The young lady had always been weak and infertile. Even so, the Qin family had never given up on the young lady, and the young master, Qin Lin, had never thought of getting another wife. Uncle, I have gone out for the whole day. My father must be worried about me. I need to go to the palace. I will pay the young lady of the Qin family a visit later. You want to visit the Qin family? Nalan Zhongqian was worried and his brows knitted together. Uncle, are you worried that I would mock the young lady that she is a hen that is not capable of laying eggs? Feng Ruqing broke into laughter. As the young lady of the Qin family was weak, she rarely walked out of the manor. However, as part of the Qin family, she had always bumped into the princess. The princess had always mocked her, and she had even passed out from rage. That's not what I meant. I am just worried that the young lady of the Qin family is afraid of you and her health would be affected if she sees you. Nalan Zhongqian could not help but answer. Feng Ruqing's face darkened. The old princess had caused too much trouble. She must iron them out one by one. Uncle, they will not throw me out the manor if Daya is going with me. Everything would be just fine. Feng Ruqing smiled as she stroked Daya's head. Things would become much better if Feng Ruqing could meet the young lady of the Qin family. The news that Feng Ruqing had returned to the city had made a great stir in the palace. Some of them felt relieved, while most of them were disappointed. Noble consort Rong was extremely resentful and had nearly broken all the ceramic decorations in her manor. She hated that Feng Ruqing was still alive and that she was not as obedient as she used to be. It was natural that noble consort Rong hated Feng Ruqing. She had put in so much effort to rise to her current position. Ever since Feng Ruqing had woken up, all her efforts had gone down the drain. Feng Ruqing, I will get everything that Nalan Yang owes me from you. Liu Rong's eyes darkened, a faint semblance of enmity flickered in her eyes. Her face turned extremely ferocious and horrifying. 20 years ago, many well-off and privileged young masters and ladies had gathered at Liu Yun Kingdom. The Crown Prince Feng Tianyu was amongst them. As Feng Tianyu was extremely talented and stunningly handsome, he had stood out from the crowd. Liu Rong had fallen in love with him at first sight. However, Feng Tianyu had given his heart to the eldest daughter of the general's family, Nalan Yang. A young master with remarkable talent and an exquisitely gorgeous young lady were no doubt a match made in heaven. On the contrary, Liu Rong was no match for her and was left to wither. Liu Rong hated the fact that she had actually fallen in love with Feng Tianyu first, but he had gone and given his heart to Nailan Yang. Hence, Liu Rong's father had worked together with many officials of the kingdom and forced the emperor to take Liu Rong as his concubine during the empress installation ceremony. As many of the officials had their own conspiracies and wanted to make their own daughter as one of the emperor's concubines, they had quickly agreed with Liu Rong's father. At that time, Feng Tianyu was still very young when the late emperor passed away. Hence, he did not have a strong foundation and naturally, was not capable of going against them. Chapter 127, The Young Lady of the Qin Family. Too. Since then, Liu Rongs had realized her dream and rose to the status of a noble lady. However, the emperor had pronounced before all his concubines that Nailan Yang was his only. The rest of the concubines were nothing more than an empty shell, a political marriage to please the imperial officials. Liu Rong closed her eyes slowly, a giddily affectionate heaven-made couple flashed through her mind. There were many times that she wanted to rush out to shake the heartbroken scene off of her mind. Nailan Yang. Liu Rong clutched her chest as she gritted her teeth. Since you have died, why are you still taking His Majesty's heart away? Why are you still the Empress of Liu Yun Kingdom? Noble consort Rong. At this time, a lady in servant's attire walked into the manor. When she saw that the manor was a mess, her face darkened a few shades. Are you insane? You are in the palace. The emperor has eyes everywhere. You are digging your own grave by doing this. Disregarding every aspect of etiquette, the servant talked to Liu Rong as if Liu Rong was her servant. I'm sorry. I did not manage to control my emotion. Liu Rong did not lose her temper. She got up slowly with a pale face. Please behave yourself. If someone finds out, the master will not hesitate to sacrifice you and get another concubine for the emperor. The servant's eyes narrowed, a hint of viciousness flashed in her eyes. No, he won't do that. Even if I truly made a mistake, he will not kill me. After all, Schwanger, Liu Rong's face was ghastly pale as she bit her lip hard. Shut up. Watch your mouth. If you ruin the master's plan, I will kill you on his behalf. The servant shouted coldly. You should know what the master truly wants. You are nothing to him. The servant walked slowly toward Liu Ring and lowered her tone as she sneered. The servant's words sent a chill down Liu Rong's spine. Her body stiffened all of a sudden. She knew that she was truly reckless this time. As her master was extremely ruthless, he had lost his mind when Liu Rong was not capable of handling Feng Ruqing previously. Hence, she must not make another mistake again. Otherwise, he would definitely kill Liu Rong to accomplish his goal. I know what I should do. Liu Rong took a deep breath with a determined look. The Liu family and Feng Ruqing's fate are all in your hands. As long as you are loyal to the master, not only will the whole world be within the Liu family's grasp, the master would fulfill Feng Rushwang's dream, marrying the state preceptor, the servant said, with a smile on her face. Hearing this, Liu Rong's eyes sparkled. As she could not get the person she loved the most, she would not allow Feng Rushwang to follow her path. She would make the state preceptor marry Feng Rushwang at all costs. All right. What does the master want me to do? Liu Rong regained her composure as she asked. He has chosen a husband for Feng Ruqing, and she must marry him by hook or by crook. The servant lowered her eyes, her voice was so sinister that Liu Rong's heart turned cold. After leaving General Manor, Feng Ruqing went directly to the palace. Seeing that Feng Ruqing had returned to the palace safe and sound, Feng Tianyu sighed in relief. As Feng Tianyu was busy with the political affairs, Feng Ruqing simply reminded him to drink the spirit wine before she left the imperial study. Chapter 128, The Young Lady of the Qin Family. 3 This little girl even reminded me to drink the wine. Well, get me the wine that the princess gave me the last time. Watching Feng Ruqing leaving, Feng Tianyu couldn't help but smile. The wine was the first present that Feng Ruqing had given him. Naturally, he could not bear to drink it. Now that Feng Ruqing had reminded him, he must take a sip. Not long after, a eunuch walked into the imperial study with a cup of wine placed on the tray in his hands. Feng Tianyu brought the jade cup to his lips. Before he took a sip of the wine, The fragrance of the wine streamed from the cup and into his nostrils. It was so intoxicating that Feng Tianyu was slightly jolted. This wine, the wine was no ordinary wine and was rich in spiritual qi. Eunuch Ling, this is the wine that the princess gave me. Yes, your majesty. The eunuch waved the horsetail whisk as he answered respectfully. Feng Tianyu gulped down a mouthful of wine with an imposing expression on his face. As the wine streamed down his throat, a sudden warmth engulfed his body. Feng Tianyu could not help but groan softly. Spirit wine could soothe aches and pains as well as strengthen the body. However, it was not capable of treating all the diseases. Even so, Feng Tianyu felt so much better than before. Haha. This is such good wine. Get me another cup of this wine. Ever since Empress Nalan had passed away, Feng Tianyu had suffered from overwhelming distress, both physically and mentally. He had never felt this good for a long while. This wine was truly amazing. Your Majesty, since you love this wine so much, why don't this servant buy all of this wine for you? Ling asked joyfully. It was truly rare that Feng Tianyu would love wine so much. Eunuch, how could you buy such good wine with money? Feng Tianyu broke into laughter. Then Her Highness, Eunuch Ling was slightly startled. If the wine could not be bought with money, how could the princess get that? I don't care where Chinga got this from. Everyone has her own secret. Why should we care about that? Go and invite Master Nalan. I want to drink this wine with him today. Haha. Feng Tianyu let out a boisterous laugh. As the saying goes, shared joy is a double joy. It was such a waste to drink such a great wine alone. At your command. Eunuch Ling retreated. When Eunuch Ling left the imperial study, he could still hear the Feng Tianyu's laughter in the air. He had not been laughing so happily ever since Empress Nalan's death. Eunuch Ling shook his head helplessly and sighed softly. As His Majesty has dealt with great pain for losing the one he loved the most, his health has deteriorated. Has it not been for Her Highness, His Majesty would have taken his own life. At the entrance of Qin Manor, Feng Ruqing stopped walking with Daya in tow. Standing at the door, Daya's tiny hand clung onto Feng Ruqing's arm. The two guards flew into a great panic when they saw Feng Ruqing and could hardly say a word. Your Highness. I heard that my aunt is at Qin Manor. I am here to take my aunt home. Could you please inform her? All right. The guard quickly answered and rushed into the courtyard. The chamber was peacefully silent with white yarn dancing in the wind. Qin Yi was sitting next to a bed with intricate wood carvings. Her hand held gently onto the young lady's hand as she said softly, Pinyao, don't overthink. Your health is more important. Lying in bed, the young lady looked extremely sorrowful as color drained from her face. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.